Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'll be profiling an article from the economiccollapseblog.com titled, "If the high cost of groceries make you feel sick, you are not alone." And it's only going to get more expensive from here on out. The US dollar is going to continue in its decline of value. Inflation's going to increase. We're going to see hyperinflation. The cost of living is going to go up. More people are going to lose their jobs and, become homeless, etc., etc. And that is because we are living in the last days, really the last seconds of the last days, especially of the rulership of the biblical Edomites, or these so-called white people. And the United States of America is going to be the main place where the worst judgments of the Most High are going to take place at. And as it says in Matthew chapter 24, verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So if you're in pain now, hey, you better buckle up, because that pain's going to get a lot worse. If you're really struggling with the high cost of living, I want you to know that you aren't alone. In recent months, I've been hearing from so many people that feel like they are drowning financially. Have you experienced a palpable sense of panic when you compare your rising bills to the level of income that you are currently bringing in? And with the way things are looking, it looks like we're about to enter stagflation as well, which means that the cost of living rises, but people's income stays the same. So there's a disparity there. So many people out there are stressed out of their minds because it has become such a struggle to pay the bills each month. As I discussed a few days ago, a typical U.S. household must now spend $1,000 and $1,069 more a month just to buy the exact same goods and services that it did 3 years ago. Over the course of an entire year, that is almost an extra $13,000. Month after month, prices just keep going higher, but those that are running things continue to insist that everything is just fine. No, everything is not just fine. Last week, a TikTok video about rising grocery prices at Walmart quickly garnered more than 1 million views. The person that made the video found a grocery order that he had placed 2 years ago, and he decided to hit the reorder all button to see what that same order would cost today. And listen to this. A recent TikTok video has gone viral showing a user's surprising experience with Walmart's grocery prices. The user explained in his video that he tried to use the reorder all button for an order he placed 2 years ago, which originally cost $126.67. To his shock, the same order would now cost $414. Hey, 144, 414, $414.39. I was quite stunned by this video. Many of the things that I regularly purchased at the grocery store have doubled or more than doubled in price. But in this case, the total cost of the grocery order had more than tripled. The TikTok at Sewerlid explained that the original $126.16 purchase was for a month's worth of groceries, which included 53 items. A whole month of groceries just for me, he said in the video. The total was updated to $414.39, almost quadrupling. I feel like I'm going to be sick, he said. And it's a lot of these Edomites that are taken to TikTok and social media complaining about, the cost of living is getting ridiculous. I'll never buy a home. I'll never have a family. I'm in a dead-end job, etc., etc. Hey, it's not going to get any better. There's going to be no build back better or make America great again. We are living, again, in the decline of Esau Edom's rulership, especially in the United States of America. And that just goes to show you how bad things are when these Edomites are suffering, because everything was all good when, it was you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who were struggling, who are the true children of Israel. It was all, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You're just not working hard enough. Well, hey, Esau, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop being a goddamn bum. Stop being so lazy. Hey, get better with women if you can't find a girlfriend or a wife. Needless to say, this video has generated a ton of discussion online. Let me see. When Walmart was asked about this, they responded by saying that the primary reason there was such a difference is because the person that made the video was attempting to order discontinued items. Walmart representatives have responded, stating that the claims in the video are not accurate. According to them, the discrepancies in price are due to discontinued items rather than actual inflation. But this explanation certainly did not satisfy everyone. And another thing, too, is they're doing shrinkflation, where they'll say you buy a bottle of Gatorade. It's on the outside, it looks like the exact same bottle, but when you look at the bottom of the bottle, it's more concaved. So that means less liquid is in there, but they're charging you the same price, and with inflation increasing the price. Or the famous one, a bag of chips. You buy a bag of chips and 2/3 of the bag is air. So nobody wants to hear no goddamn explanation about, oh, the items are discontinued. Another person hit the reorder all button on an old order, and that order went from $180 back then to $430 today. Viewers expressed both shock and frustration in the comments. Now I feel a little less gaslit about grocery prices because it has gone crazy, and it's not just me, wrote one person. Walmart, can you explain yourself, please, added another. A fellow shopper said they used to spend $180 for 2 weeks worth of groceries and are now spending over $430 for the same amount. And hey, what this guy's about to say in these next couple of paragraphs, hey, it blew my mind. If you think that the price of groceries is not a problem, I have a challenge for you. Fill up a grocery cart all the way to the very top with items that you typically eat and try to keep the final bill under $300. If you're smart, you can do it, but it won't be easy. In the old days, you could buy a used car for $300. Now imagine that. You see some of the used car prices out here. This sounds like something that would be in a fiction novel, not reality. Just to show you how far the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar is fallen, and it's only going to get worse. Now, many people burn through more than $300 in just one trip to the grocery store. Now let's get a precept, because it was prophesied that, things would become unaffordable out here. This is Revelation chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 5. And this is dealing with the so-called 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which are just symbolic for events that would be taking place in the last days. And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see, thou hurt not the oil and the wine." And we're going to get that word penny in the Strongs, which is G1220, denarion. And in the outline of biblical usage, it says, a Roman silver coin in New Testament times. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses, which was another, Roman coin made out of originally bronze, then copper. Why? Because just like now with the U.S. dollar, the value, there was a currency devaluation. So they mixed it with, cheaper metals. A number after 217 BC increased to 16, about 3.898 grams or 0.1375 ounces. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire, and America is Rome reborn. So think of that denarion as the US dollar today, which again is having its value decrease. Why? Because just all this excess printing out here, which is cheapening the value, and then more and more nations are starting to de-dollarize. And then with Saudi Arabia not renewing the petrodollar deal, which meant that nations that wanted to get Saudi Arabia's oil had to use the dollar. Hey, that's going to be another major blow to the US dollar. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. And in the ancient world, and especially in the law, in the scriptures, a man was paid the very same day he worked. It's not like this wicked society today where most people are paid every 2 weeks. So think about it like this: a measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny. In today's parlance, using damn near your entire paycheck just to buy grocery items, as we just saw. What the guy say? I used to spend $180 for 2 weeks worth of groceries. Now I'm spending over $430 for the same amount. And most people don't make a lot of money as it is. So that's a major, dip into your funds. And then on top of that, you got to pay for gas, which is going up. You got to pay for rent, since most people are renters out here, which is going up, etc., etc. This is just one of the reasons why inflation has become such a huge political issue. According to Gallup, inflation was not really considered to be an important issue at all prior to 2022. For the third year in a row, the percentage of Americans naming inflation or the high cost of living as the most important financial problem facing their family has reached a new high. The 41% naming the issue this year is up slightly from 35% a year ago and 32% in 2022. Before 2022, the highest percentage mentioning inflation was 18% in 2008. Inflation has been named by less than 10% in most other readings since the question was first asked in 2005. The last 3 years have been an inflationary nightmare, and no matter how much our leaders try to deny it, a lot more inflation is on the way. Things are particularly bad in our major cities. In fact, it is being reported that Manhattan is the most expensive place to live in the United States by a wide margin. And hey, a lot of people in these, blue states are tucking tail and going to red states or places that are much cheaper, not just due to the increased cost of living, but just the rampant crime that has taken place, the rampant lawlessness. The New York Bureau of Manhattan is the most expensive place to live in the U.S., and the cost of living in the number 2 place isn't even close. The cost of living in Manhattan is more than twice the national average. The second and third most expensive places are Honolulu and San Jose, California. But in comparison, they are much more affordable. Manhattan is 24% more expensive than Honolulu and 30% more expensive than San Jose. It isn't a big mystery why this is the case. When our leaders pumped trillions upon trillions of dollars into the system, the financial markets benefited greatly. Hey, the boys on Wall Street, these politicians. So Manhattan is swimming in cash, and prices there have gone into the stratosphere. But many of us relentlessly warned about what would happen when our leaders flooded the system with cash, and now we are facing economic distortions that are extremely painful. And now they're printing even more money and, raising taxes to pay for all these migrants that are coming across the border. Free college in some cases, hotel rooms, free meals, thousands of dollars on debit and credit cards, etc., etc. And a lot of those migrants coming across the border are UN troops and other troops that are going to be policing the streets of America soon. So just like what was it? Back during the Revolutionary War days, when the colonists fought against room and board for the British soldiers because they didn't want to benefit the British Empire. Hey, you're benefiting the elites right now with their blue hats with room and board through your taxes. For most Americans, prices have been rising much faster than their paychecks. As a result, our national standard of living has been steadily declining. And now we have entered a time when it appears that economic conditions are really slowing down. For example, it is being reported that Ford is preparing for yet another round of layoffs. Ford Motor is preparing for a new round of layoffs for its salaried workers in the United States, the Wall Street Journal reported on Thursday, citing people familiar with the matter. The company in March last year announced plans to reduce structural costs of up to $3 billion at its gas-powered vehicle unit. In August, Ford said it would cut a total of 3,000 salaried and contract jobs, mostly in North America and India. Over the past several years, our politicians in Washington have borrowed and spent trillions upon trillions of dollars, and the experts, in quotes, at the Federal Reserve have pumped trillions upon trillions of dollars into the financial system. Now let's go to Isaiah chapter 19, verses 14 to 15. Because, when you look at the monetary and economic policy right now, it seems like madness. Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. They have caused Egypt, and this is speaking of a spiritual Egypt as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8, the United States of America. And they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. And we can clearly see that the Most High has, mingled a perverse spirit amongst these people in the U.S. government. Because what do we have? Open borders, unrelenting money printing, leading to a currency devaluation, policies in the military to allow, the happy people and anybody else in there, which is just ruining the effectiveness of the U.S. military, etc., etc. And that's all by design from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to what? Systematically break down spiritual Egypt, the United States of America, so to be that much easier to collapse. And then you also have the elites, such as the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, who, they're controlled by the Most High as well, pulling the strings, manipulating the system to further break it down. Verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And what do we just read? Ford Motor is preparing for a new round of layoffs for its salaried workers in the United States, the Wall Street Journal reported Thursday, citing people familiar with the matter. Like I said at the beginning of the video, and more people are going to lose their jobs out here. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. I'm going to start at verse 1. And this is the spirit you sincere Akim and Aqua should be in out there. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, before all hell breaks loose during Jacob's trouble. We're in this grace period right now to get ourselves right with our power, so we should be doing everything we can to do so. So when this judgment comes, we'll have that protective hedge over us. And as it says in Isaiah 33 and 6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. will have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to keep us stable while everybody else is losing their goddamn minds, which we can clearly see they're losing now. While the sun, which in the scriptures, the sun can be symbolic for knowledge, or the light, or the moon, which can be symbolic for wisdom, or the stars be not darkened, while this word is still freely available out here. You got the men of the Lord on the highways and byways preaching, and what? You got these video epistles going out online, but we're also coming into the time of the famine of the word. Well, this word will no longer be available, and as it says in Amos chapter 8, around verses 11 to 14, that the young men and the fair virgins shall faint for thirst, spiritual thirst, because they won't have any answers for what's going on, and that they shall run to and fro to find the words of the Most High, but they won't be able to, nor the clouds return after the rain. Verse 3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. And when you go into the etymology of that word economy, it means housekeeping. So what's this talking about? These economists out here. And hey, you got a lot of professional economists and a lot of these social media economists sounding the alarm that the system can't take all this money printing and, just all these economic policies for too much longer. It's about to buckle under all that weight. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders or workers cease, because they are few. Because what? There's no jobs out here to get, so there's not a need for workers. And those that look out of the windows be darkened. And you look out of the window to find something, but there's nothing available. I've seen, plenty of reports where people are talking about how they've applied for damn near 100 jobs, but didn't get a call back. And a lot of jobs out here aren't full-time, but part-time. So you got people working multiple part-time jobs. And then a lot of businesses have a for hire sign out, but they're not hiring anybody. They're just doing that to put more pressure on their current workers that they could lose their job and stuff like that. All these manipulation tactics. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Businesses shutting down because the cost of living, they just can't keep up with it, so they got to close their doors. And then with a lot of these major corporations, they're turning to AI and automation, so that's not a need for physical workers. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. Music's at an all-time low out here. When you got Pound Town by Sexy Red, that lets you know all that you need to know. Over the past several years, our politicians in Washington have borrowed and spent trillions upon trillions of dollars, and the experts at the Federal Reserve have pumped trillions upon trillions of dollars into the financial system. Hey, I have mingled a perverse spirit that Egypt may err in every work and stagger like a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. All that did was buy us a little more time. All that did was delay the inevitable. Now we are facing a crisis of absolutely epic proportions, and the economic suffering that we are currently experiencing is nothing compared to the economic suffering that is ahead of us. Again, Matthew 24 verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. But now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 24 verses 7 to 11. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of the tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. And when you go from paying $180 for 2 weeks worth of groceries a couple of years ago to $430 now, hey, there's no reason out here to be merry-hearted or enjoy things, because what? You're struggling out here. You're living paycheck to paycheck and not knowing if you're not going to have a job next month or be out on your ass. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Instead of going out to drink to celebrate a job promotion or having a good time, People are drinking now to drown out, reality, their sorrows. And over the last couple of years in the United States of America, alcohol, drug abuse, suicidal thought, or deletion thoughts, as well as self-deletions have all increased. The city of confusion is broken down, and Babylon or Babel in the Hebrew means confusion by mixing, and another name for the United States of America in the scriptures is Babylon the Great. So the city of Babylon, the United States of America, is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in, because the doors shall be shut in the streets, because the sound of the grinding is low. There's a crying for wine in the streets, and wine in the scriptures can be symbolic for answers, understanding. You got a lot of people looking for answers out here, but the answers they're getting aren't sufficient. The only true answers you're going to get are from the scriptures. And even then, the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai has to be on you to understand it. And that's, only for the elect of the nation of Israel out here. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. We haven't even gotten to the famines yet, the pestilences, civil war, martial law, World War III, or the nuclear missiles. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. As we can clearly see, we are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. As always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.